Hi, welcome to Above the Rest Outdoors. This week, we're employing the help of some of our friends. Maybe I better rephrase that. Employing might sound like that someone's getting paid on this little adventure, and I can assure you that is not happening. Nope, it's just friends hunting with friends. This week is really special for me. I'm going to be hunting with a longtime friend and former co-worker of mine from the Searcy Fire Department in Arkansas, David Mitchell, better known as Mitch. Not only am I going to be hunting with my good friend Mitch, but we've been invited to hunt with two other friends, Rick and Nick Engel, and they just happen to live in one of the best places in the country to hunt whitetail deer, Adams County, Illinois. I guess I should explain a little bit about David Mitchell. First off, this is the first time that Mitch is going to be hunting whitetail deer outside of the state of Arkansas. On top of that, it's his first time hunting the Midwest. For anyone I know, that would be pretty exciting. But for Mitch, well, let's just say Mitch is kind of an exciting guy anyhow. So, boy, this should be fun for Mitch.
It's like a kid on Christmas Eve, and you're waiting to get up in the morning. It's to be in Illinois, in Adams County. It's just it's kind of like something on my bucket list. I'm finally getting to do it. The anticipation, I guess, is about as good as it gets. Just knowing that I've got a chance to even see some Pope and Young quality deer is a thrill for me. Considering where I'm from, you're lucky to see one every couple of years. So to actually be here and be the one that's hunting and not on the camera, this is a new spot for me. I've never felt anything like this. To say I'm not excited would be a complete lie.
Well, this is only the first 15 minutes of our hunt, and Mitch doesn't have a Pope and Young deer heading our way. He has an Illinois giant heading our way. Well, you can clearly see that buck can't hear Mitch grunting at him. But when that buck finally stops in the leaves long enough and Mitch happens to time his grunt just perfect, I believe he hears him now. Do you think Mitch might be slightly excited about this deer coming in? If you listen close, you can not only hear his heart rate, but you can also hear some seriously heavy breathing. As big whitetails often do, something just told that deer there was something wrong with this area. He was coming straight to us, then just decided, I don't like this, looked up in the tree, saw us, and away he went. I think this is what I love the most about hunting with David Mitchell. Most people would have been just devastated that a buck like that had come in and they hadn't gotten a shot. Not Mitch. This deer has made his week, month, maybe even his year.
I'll tell you what, you can watch TV. You can watch all these channels, Outdoor Pursuit, Sportsman, and I enjoy it, and it's fun, and I try to put myself there. But there's absolutely Nothing in my life have I ever experienced like that. To know I almost got a shot at a 150 or 60 at least, and to see it in the, I mean, I can't put it into words. I've never, ever, my trip's made. It's our first morning, Monday morning. It's not even 8 o'clock. And no matter what happens the rest of the week, this was worth the $500 for the license, the trip up. It's done. Everything else now is gravy.
I always took my quiver off.
I always took my quiver off.
I used to hunt with my quiver off.
Why do so many bow hunters detach their quivers? To avoid accuracy affecting torque. Tight Spot is the first low torque quiver. It fits tight to your bow, is extremely lightweight, and means virtually no torque.
Now, I hunt with my Tight Spot quiver on.
It acts as a stabilizer.
You'll shoot better with your Tight Spot quiver on than you ever did with your old quiver off.
Tight Spot, the quiver that fits tight to your bow.
Matthew shooters Lee and Tiffany Lakoski know that it takes years of hard work cultivating, planting, and managing quality food plots to produce the right hunting environment that attracts monster bucks.
With the helium, got my biggest buck to date on the ground. And that's why I shoot a Matthews.
Matthews, trusted by more serious hunters and professional archers.
And that's why we shoot a Matthews.
We just put the hex on one and smoked him.
He really doesn't need to smell my hat, does he?
Hex Stealth Screen, scientifically changing the way hunters stay undetected.
If you're a hunter, you're part of a great legacy of conservation leadership. I'm Craig Morgan, and I'm inviting you to help me carry our legacy one step further. Join and support the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, a conservation unit for hunters and people who care about wildlife, wild places, and outdoor adventure. So join us. Here's how.
One low price, plain and simple always. It's the philosophy that sets our dealership apart. Hi, I'm Jared Gandard, owner of Kalispell Toyota. Our philosophy came from you. We listened to what you liked and disliked about buying a vehicle. You'll find our best price clearly displayed on every vehicle on our lot. No back and forth, no sales gimmicks. 18 or 80, good credit or not so good. You'll get the same best price up front, in writing, every day. Best price, another reason why Kalispell Toyota is #1 in Northwest Montana.
Above the Rest Outdoors is brought to you by these fine sponsors. Mitch and I started off our Illinois hunt with a bang. I mean a big bang. We had a giant buck come in to 25 yards, but we couldn't get an arrow in him. But over the next 3 or 4 days, we quickly figured out that every time we climb in a tree in Illinois, one of those big giants isn't going to show up. We've been seeing lots of deer, seeing some does, we're seeing some small bucks. We even see a couple other pretty nice bucks, but either they come by us and they're too small, or they stay off at a distance and kind of skirt around us. But it seems like no matter what we try, we just can't seem to get things figured out. But on the 5th day, a little cold front came through, and I mean everything changes for us. Because we hadn't been seeing much over the last 3 or 4 days, Mitch had decided he's going to go sit on the edge of a field in glass to do a little bit of scouting. So this morning, I've got Nick in the tree with me, he's running the camera, and I'm up trying to kill a big buck.
We haven't done any kind of interview this morning because as soon as we got in this tree, we jumped deer coming here. Then got up in the tree, getting our stuff set, deer were walking by us. And we've had deer all around us all morning. Only problem is we've only seen one buck. A forked horn. Actually, cameraman could see other deer up here farther. I couldn't see them. But did have one respond to my horns. Forked horn came running in. But other than that, I don't know where all the big dogs are. But it's a beautiful morning, sunny but cold. Just waiting to see the right right doe with the right buck behind him. But boy, these deer, they are the most educated deer I've ever seen. They're looking up in the tree when we've got the wind right, not moving, and they are looking up and seeing blobs sitting there. Catch one that isn't paying attention, hopefully, or a blind one. We need a David Mitchell deer.
Now, during the rut, I'm a huge fan of sitting all day. I believe at any time of the day, one of them big boys could walk by. And the deer movement we're seeing on this day tells me that's exactly what we need to be doing. We need to be staying all day. It's not until about 10:30 that my cameraman informs me he's going to have to leave and go home because it's his wife's birthday. Are you kidding me? It's the peak of the rut. There's a cold front moving through, and we're hunting a stand that has not been hunted all year long, and he's got to go home for his wife's birthday? I'll tell you right now, he's fired after this. Even though we've got deer running all around us, bucks chasing does, up and down the hillside where we're at, decent deer, small deer, we haven't seen any of those big ones. We're going to have to get down out of this tree, go down to the cabin, meet Mitch, let Nick go to his wife's birthday, and then Mitch and I will come back and climb in the tree. Well, just before we decide to climb down to go let Nick go to his wife's birthday, here he comes. Here's what we've been waiting for. A big buck chasing a doe. Comes flying by right underneath our tree.
Alright, well, this is what the rut is all about when you're hunting whitetails in the Midwest. It's 11:30, 11:25. We just had a giant buck go by. And of course you can't stop him. He's chasing a doe, 100 miles an hour through this brush and stuff. Comes busting out, runs by at like 12 yards, and just will not stop.
I can tell you, if my wife's birthday was in the middle of the rut, I would be telling her, we're going to be celebrating your birthday in the summer, honey. I sure hope Karen's not watching this. Maybe I should call and ask her if I can say that. So when we left, we just climbed out of the tree, taking Nick down to the cabin so he can go to his wife's birthday party, grabbed David Mitchell and his bow, and now Mitch and I have climbed back in the same tree, and we've only missed about an hour of the day. Seemed like as soon as we sat down, deer were right back on top of us. Buck after buck starts coming by, so things are looking good for Mitch to fill his tag. Now, because of some of the bucks Nick and I had seen in the morning, I convinced Mitch to bring his bow. I even told him I'll let you shoot first. We knew there were several bucks in there that Mitch would shoot, and there was at least one that I would shoot. So Mitch is up to bat first. We're going to see if we can get him a shot at a buck. And if it works out, who knows? Might even kill two out of the same tree.
Here he comes, yeah. Just shoot him sitting down, don't get up.
And this definitely isn't the caliber buck that we saw on the first day, but I can tell you right now, this would be David Mitchell's biggest deer ever.
Just wait. I need him to clear these trees. Alright, anytime. Take your time, Mitch. He's right there. He didn't go 20, 30 yards and he laid down. I got him this time. What'd you say? Dead right there.
DRT.
DRT, dead right there. He's right there.
I know. I can see him laying there. I can see his
Man, Holder, I know this isn't a huge buck for a lot of big bow hunters, but it's my biggest ever.
Congratulations.
Mitch's deer doesn't go very far, so we swap. I'm now got my bow in my hand, he's running the camera, and wouldn't you know it, there's a doe on the way. With the rut going, this is a good sign. Now the stand that we're in is on the side of a hill, and these deer are coming from the downhill side, which I would say we got to be 30 feet above them. But obviously, this doe has been through the Illinois tree stand safety class as well, because she looks at us and sees us in this tree. Normally, when a doe starts stomping, it bothers me, but that's about it. But in this particular case, I have seen the big buck from earlier this morning come down the hill about 100 yards away, following a doe. And the doe that's below us now, that's doing all this stomping, the doe that my buck is following, sees this doe. And I'm afraid she's going to blow the whole deal. I don't know what that doe was saying when she was stomping her feet, but whatever she's saying, the doe that's being chased by that buck is coming straight to us. And that means, so is he.
Independent tests confirm that the pins on a black gold are 20% brighter than the next brightest bow sight. So bright that we had to use photochromatic technology to dim the pins in bright light. In low light, while the pins on other bow sights are growing dim, the pins on a black gold sight are still perfectly bright. Be the last one out of the woods at night. Get a black gold sight.
When you have a hunting question, we have a solution. When you want to know when, where, or how. Most of all, why should you believe us? We make our living looking for your answers. AboveTheRestOutdoors.com.
This is high-speed footage of the Ripcord Code Red and a competitor's fall-away arrow rest. Both fall as designed, but watch what happens to each launcher arm after fall-away. Ripcord's drop-dead brake stops any launcher bounce back, while the competitor's launcher arm bounces back up into the arrow. This will affect arrow flight and broadhead accuracy. Eliminate launcher bounce back with Ripcord Code Red, the #1 fall-away rest.
Above the Rest Outdoors is brought to you by these fine sponsors. When we left, David Mitchell had arrowed his biggest deer yet. Me and him had swapped camera and bow, and now it's my turn, and I had an Illinois giant standing within bow range. I just need him to walk into a hole to shoot. Meh.
Oh my God.
What a day. 2 bucks in 2 hours roughly. That is the first time I've ever killed a double on whitetail deer. When we get to the cabin and look at the footage, we decide that's definitely my deer rolling down the hill, so we know we can go get that one. But we decide we're not positive on Mitch's, so we're just going to wait till the next morning. It's plenty cold enough. Well, after a sleepless night for Mitch, we walked right over and his deer was still laying there.
For somebody like me that just doesn't see a lot of bucks of this caliber anyway, with my bow.
How much fun is that?
That was the most fun I've had outside of meeting my wife, having my child. There isn't a Christmas around that's ever matched this week.
Have you had fun?
I'm telling you, I told you already, I've told them already, I have never had a week like this, not including meeting my wife or having my daughter. that tops it. But for something just to get to do, I never dreamed I'd have a week like this.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
never dreamed it. This has been the best time of my life.
Well, it just wouldn't be fair if you were hunting your buddy's land and you didn't at least let him get in front of the camera and carry his bow for 1 or 2 days at least. So we're going to climb in a stand with Nick. This stand sits on the edge of one of their big wheat fields there. And he tells me this is where the big dogs live. Funny thing we realized as we were climbing in this tree, we looked down at the rattling horns that I've been using that I borrowed from Nick. And lo and behold, the deer that I shot yesterday, I was using his shed antler to rattle him in.
The best thing to take to the stand, we got to look at when we were in the stand today. This left side shed, if you look at David's buck on film, this bladed out, dished out brow, and now his G3 comes on the inside of his main beam, and he's got this little pocket. This is last year's shed of David's buck he killed last night.
It's not long after Nick and I climb in the stand, there's deer already showing up in the winter wheat field. Lucky for us, looks like some does have come out on the edge where we're sitting. Even better, looks like they're going to walk right by us. That first shot definitely didn't go where Nick was hoping. But in his defense, what had happened, he had a brand new safety vest on. That safety vest had a pouch. He put his rangefinder down in the pouch with the string around his neck. Somewhere when he had drawn his bow, it caught that string and it dang near pulled his rangefinder right off of his neck, causing the arrow to fly crazy and hit the deer way back. Good thing was, Nick was able to recover, make a second shot, and the second shot looks like it might have done its job.
There he is right there.
Hey, was David Holder right or what? Sure enough, about a 50-yard tracking job, and we found Nick's deer.
Oh, look at that. Them have been broken off for a long time.
That's a big old buck right there, buddy.
That's a mature deer. Look at his head. He's old. Yeah. That deer is old.
This week was truly special for us. Not only did we kill 2 Pope and Young deer, David Mitchell killed his biggest deer yet with his bow, but we also got to spend a solid week with a bunch of friends chasing big deer. In my opinion, it can't get any better than that. Then again, maybe it can. Next week we're going to be hunting in Montana, and I'm not going to be hunting with friends, I'm going to be hunting with my family. Karen, Warren, and I are going to be chasing elk in the mountains of Montana. Join us next week on Above the Rest Outdoors, and thanks for watching this week.
Proper sleep is essential to your health. Hi, I'm Jennifer Hagan. At Sleep City, we're dedicated to improving your sleep. Nothing does this better than pressure-relieving memory foam from Beauty Rest. Sleep City has 48 months free financing on all Comfortpedic, True Energy, and Beauty Rest Black mattresses during our biggest memory foam event of the year. Sleep healthy on a Beauty Rest during the memory foam event at Sleep City.
Improving America's sleep. Sleep City.
If you're a hunter You're part of a great legacy of conservation leadership. I'm Craig Morgan, and I'm inviting you to help me carry our legacy one step further. Join and support the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, a conservation unit for hunters and people who care about wildlife, wild places, and outdoor adventure. So join us. Here's how.